I may be sick, I may be down, but I'm certainly not out for the count, and for good reasons, because he's back by popular demand. And apparently, he's got some big things that he's going to talk about, because just maybe the fate of his career changed last night. He's going to tell us more about it. Some call him the real deal. Some call him one of the best to ever lace it up in the yard. He is on his way to bigger and better things. Some love him, some hate him, but some and almost all cannot deny what he does in the ring. He's become a staple here on Sportswire Radio. That's why we have him. I don't think I can give my usual introduction because, unfortunately, my voice, if you can hear it, ladies and gentlemen, is well pretty much what half of what it should be. But I'm still going to try anyway. So with that, without further ado here on the Sports Report, number one global sports show. They call him the real deal, Anthony Steele. Just like Batman, I had to put the cape on. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing all right. Tom. How you doing?
Well, I could be a lot better because these days I'm on cough drops. I'm sleeping half the day, and I don't know where I am. But that's okay because I'm here with you, and the show must go on. And it's been 16 or 17 days now since I've been sick on and off. But Anthony Steele, you have some news for us right off the bat here on Sportswire Radio because originally we were going to go on the air yesterday, and obviously I pretty much told you I was pretty much sleeping literally all day. Usually I'm no sleep till Brooklyn guy because I am from Brooklyn, but in this case I've slept so much that I'll probably never want to sleep again. But apparently maybe things for the career of the real deal Anthony Steele has changed. Tell us about what happened Sunday night for those that are listening and watching on Sports Wire Radio.
So basically, you send me the text and you're like, hey, you mind moving it to Monday night? I'm still feeling a little under the weather, but I should be good by tomorrow. And I was like, you know what? That's fine. Me and my girl were out and about anyway. We came home, took a nap, and I woke up and I got my phone was blown up by multiple different people. And one message in particular, it was like, can you show up to Middleton, Tennessee on Friday? I'm sitting here like, okay. So I didn't have the number saved. And I was like, all right, what's going on in Middleton, Tennessee? Well, then as soon as I hop on Messenger, I see that a guy that I've been talking to, who owns a indie promotion in Middleton, Tennessee, hit me up and asked the same question. Well, then I swear to God, it was clockwork. As soon as I opened that message, he called me. On the dot. I opened that message and I got the call. And I was like, okay, this dude is definitely just sitting on there, watching. And he goes, so we talked, I think it was Thursday or Friday of last week. And he was, asking me what I've done, who I worked for and all that. And he wanted to talk to a couple of people that I said that I've either worked for or worked with. And he let me know on his decision because he doesn't want to take a chance on someone that's, unsafe, all that.
Doesn't want Craven Rage. He's saying he doesn't want Craven Rage.
He doesn't want Craven Rage. And I was like, you know what, that's fine. I understand. You're a businessman. We got to do business. And so I answered the call, and he was like, I got a show going on in Middleton, Tennessee, which is about an hour and a half away from where I'm at. And he's like, can you show up at Friday night, 7 o'clock? And I was like, I should be able to. So
yeah,
Anthony still just signed his second indie contract in Tennessee. So Friday night, we're going to see how that plays out. And, I get to bring my own flavor to it.
You always
because
do. Listen,
yeah,
nobody brings a party like Anthony Steele, the real deal. I
like
mean, no, that's why they
like
call you the real deal.
see, because like I get the same question every time an indie company hits me up. They're like, do you got ring gear? Do you got the tights? You got the kick pads? Do you got all that? And I look at them and I'm like, that's not my style. And they're like, what do you mean that's not your style? That's wrestling gear. And I told them I was like, I'm different. I was like, I'm not the standard, definition of professional wrestling. I don't need tights. I don't need kick pads. I want to be me. Like I said, when I met Scott Steiner, he told me the best person to be is you in that
And
ring.
who was better than Steiner in that case? I mean, Steiner
Like
math. I mean, the booty
exactly, dude.
daddy.
Like, and he always told me, wear what you're comfortable in, and that's what I've done my entire career. Is I wore what I was comfortable in. I'm not comfortable in tights, dude. Dead ass
I
in
know.
my
I've watched
wrestling.
you in the ring. Listen, I've
And
seen you in IMF. I've seen you in XCW. I've seen you in TBW and all these other places. I know how you look in the ring. I got you. Listen, John Cena, right? Always wore
exactly,
jeans and shorts.
yeah. And don't get me wrong. In my gear bag, I have a pair of tights. I have a pair of kick pads that were bought for me. I tried. I tried. Don't get me wrong.
Stone Cold was
Like,
James Taylor, of course.
like,
It was jeans and shorts and a t-shirt.
like, and I'm sitting here like, I gave it a try. It's just not. It's not comfortable to me. And so I told him, I was like, I took my inspiration, and I'm not gonna lie, I took my inspiration from Enzo. Enzo Amore
Yep.
wore joggers, wore
Local
sneakers.
guy by me. Yep.
And literally, like, I almost had the chance to meet him, but things didn't turn out the way that it was supposed to that day, and I didn't get the chance to. But I would have loved to sat down and just look at him and be like, you're the inspiration for my ring gear, and just to have that quick little chat with him. But I told him, I was like, I'm gonna bring my own style to you. Like, you're taking a chance on me. Well, let me show you that the chance you're about to take is gonna be worthwhile. So we're gonna see Friday night how that all
And that'll
happens.
be 7:00. Is that Central Standard Time or
Yeah,
Eastern Standard Time?
Central
And so
time.
Anthony Steele now in contract number 2. I mean, pretty soon you're going to need an agent. Are you going to need an agent, an attorney to look over these contracts? I actually am a notary public, a commissioner of deeds. I actually can review contracts. I would say that is one of my, technical side gigs. So you've signed this many contracts at this point. Contract number 3, contract number 4 will come, and I'm sure you're going to need to look over these documents there, Mr. Anthony Steele.
I mean, trust me, I'm gonna lay down everything just as much as they are. It's business. You got to read the fine print and you got to negotiate. You don't always take the first offer. That is the one thing I've learned. If you take the first offer, they're always going to think that you're going to do exactly
I've heard
everything that they
that.
want.
I've interviewed a lot of baseball players, and guys would get their contracts, and some guys would tell me when I was doing stuff in the minor leagues, and guys would say, well, Tom, after I'm out of college, one team would offer me this contract, and another one would offer me this contract, and then I'd kind of have to wait it out for a bit and then make the decision, because if you get drafted after a certain round, in terms of the signing bonus, it becomes different. So I get all that. Obviously, maybe you'll get there.
And see, that's my thing. Right now, I'm not worried about the money. I'm really not. What I'm worried about is doing what I set out to do, and that is make my name a household name, make my name known to not only the people of Sportswire, not the people that watch backyard wrestling, but the people around the world. That when I show up to their city, people will start like noticing me, be like, "Oh, that's Anthony Steele. That's
the real deal.
that's the real deal, Anthony Steele, the local indie wrestler. I just saw him wrestle in Middleton, Tennessee. I just watched him wrestle in Memphis. Like, I already get noticed here in Memphis. So let's see if I can move
Everybody knows you. Listen, everybody goes, hey, I saw the war with you and Taylor, the war with Omen Black, the wars with Division Nick. I mean, everybody knows you.
Exactly. And talking about Division Nick, that's funny you brought up that name.
I know. I heard something about you in Division Nick.
So, I always said I wanted one last match, and what better to do the last match in the yard than home. And it was a funny experience. I'm not gonna lie. I even laughed when I showed up.
Oh
because,
boy!
I showed up to the arena, showed up to where we were at, and the boys were like, funny seeing you here. Never thought I'd see you back after 2 years." And they're like, "We know you in Indy." They literally told me they thought I was just going to stick with Indy and never come back. And I was talking to Division Nick, aka Noah, for a little bit before this, and I told him, I was like, let's keep it a secret from the boys. And he was like, "Are you sure that's a good idea?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I want to see the reactions on their face." And it was priceless. It was really priceless. And it's not an indie show, so I mean, like, I'm not, gonna hype up like to the greatest max, like it's a WrestleMania match. But it was my niece's birthday, and for her to see me wrestle
One more
was
time in the yard. One more
one more
time
time.
against one of the best.
And it was fun. It was a fun experience again to be back with the people that I started out with 7 years ago, and just basically reliving the good old times, and to see their faces again, to work with Division Nick.
A man you've got a lot of history with.
Oh yeah, see, and the whole storyline, for the people that didn't watch it, and for the people that did, y'all know. Some of y'all don't. Me and Division Nick, we started our little rivalry back at WrestleFest 11, where Division Nick defended his streak against Anthony Steele, and Anthony Steele and Division Nick went all balls to the walls, and he put Anthony Steele to sleep. I'll give it to him. He was a better man that night, and then I left, and everyone thought I was gone. And then, like, I think it's like 3-4 weeks later, they're holding a tournament for the World Championship, and Division Nick called out anybody, and guess who the man was to answer the call?
It wasn't James Taylor, that I know.
And so I answered the call, and I put Division Nick down in 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes to be exact. And it was a hard pill for him to swallow, but it was a hard pill for me to swallow that I couldn't beat his streak. I couldn't beat the man who's like made WrestleFest his place. Well, leading all up to this, Raging Summer's the hottest fucking show of the summer. That was my show. No man could touch me on that show. As many 4 men's before, Division Nick, they tried, and I'll give it to them. They put on one hell of a match. They tried their hardest, but they couldn't. And Division Nick's whole motto going into it was, "You couldn't beat my streak," but he knew somehow, some way, he thought that he knew he can beat me at mine. And so I told him, I was like, it comes down to the fact, if you want to beat me in my territory, like you beat me in yours, you do it under my circumstances. And that circumstances was I quit. And which means, I told him, I was like, if I say the words "I quit," then it's done for me. The backyard was going to be done, and it was an end of an era for Anthony Steele. But we fought it out, had a hard-hitting classic. One part of that match, everyone thought that I was about to die. And to see my niece, my 2-year-old niece, I could hear her like during my match while, I was taking a beating while dishing one out, she was asking if I was okay, and I can hear it. And that's what pumped me up, and that's what made me keep going. And it all ended with Division Nick with a head on a chair and a chair being held over his head for him to realize that it's either he ends the night or I end his entire career. So he screamed the words, "I quit."
Wow. A lot there. Sounds like you're writing a book there almost with all that Anthony Steele. And I want to get to some comments here because I'm way behind and people want to say hello. I want to say hello to, some may say the real Craven or the other Craven, depending on who you are. Chris Craven. I was trying to build it up. He says hello. Want to say hello to Skulls the Soul Hunter. Obviously, say hello to Skulls. Thank you, Skulls. Also, want to say hello to James Marshall from WCE. Howdy, Tom and Anthony. Want to say hello to Mr. Ace Reed. I think you've been on the Wired Up podcast. Obviously, Mr. Reed from Australia. You've been on his podcast before, correct? Right?
Not yet. Not yet.
But you'll be on there, I'm sure.
I will be on there one day.
Okay, fair enough.
Gotta work
It's
out the day.
17 p.m. his time, so I want to say hi to him. And Soldier GP of the IMF, you probably heard of Soldier, right? He says, "Who's that? The greatest to do it in the yard?" And he laughs, kind of an LOL. And obviously, Dirty Donnie says, "I've never heard of it." He's kind of, I think, just joking. Mr. Omen Black says, "Don't worry, folks. I'm tuning into my show. P.S. Craven Rage is still scared of you." We haven't heard of Craven Rage in a while on Sportswire. That's been a big mystery. And Chris Craven then goes and says, "Craven who?" Skull says, "What up to the foundation?" He says, don't swing, brother." I don't remember if I swung on anything, but I'm not in the position to swing anything right now these days because I'm basically like I actually took a COVID test. I don't have COVID, but I'm actually more sick than having COVID because I have a virus, an upper respiratory virus that I cannot shake, which is going on 17 days. So that's the doctor's report. I'm sticking to it. Good evening, Tom. I want to say hello to our friend Ron, who's a Green Bay Packers fan. He's watching the game. Just wanted to say
Green
hello.
Bay, let's go.
Let's
Green
go.
Bay
Well, they
all
better
the
win
way.
because I picked him tonight in my fantasy league, so we'll see about that.
Go.
I didn't know. Well, yeah, that's a belt that I have from like 2006, a toy belt. So, but yeah, that's the answer to that. And then next to it, I have a Philadelphia Phillies picture of Steve Carlton. I have no idea why. It's just kind of there. I want to say hello to Mr. Peter Richards. Peter obviously is also a podcaster on sportnarium.com/player, and he's going to give me some shows. I appreciate that. Speaking of host, we have here from the Be More Talkative podcast, also on our Friday night crew, Mr. Baltimore Kid. Hopefully, Baltimore Sports gets it right tomorrow with the Orioles, but he says, "Good to see you. Hope you're feeling better." Well, I mean, I'm going. TF Crew in the house. TF Crew. We say hello to TF Crew and 100. The real Craven is correct. And Mr. Ace Reed says, "We'll definitely work out for a time for you to come on to my show." And I'm going to bring Mr. Reed on at some point, probably toward the end of the month. I'm a little bit behind in scheduling because, unfortunately, as I've pointed out, I'm a bit sick these last couple of weeks. So Anthony Steele is coming back on. So thank you, Mr. Ace Reed. And if you want to follow Anthony Steele, you can do that on Instagram at Anthony_Steele 27510. Also, YouTube, Anthony Steele 27510. And speaking of Sportswire Radio, tomorrow night, I'm going to be back live right around this time, about 9:45 p.m. to be exact, with Mr. AJ Shadows of Ego. One half of the DBW Tag Team Champions will be in the house. He is making his debut to Sportswire Radio on the eve of World War, so we look forward to having him. I'll have a few more announcements as well, but I'm glad you're back with us. I was just ready.
Dude,
what's going on here,
like five people just try to call me. Not even going to cap.
Because they're listening and watching now. They're like, "Wow, you're famous," and where are you going next? Almost. That's probably what they're wondering.
And I'm to finish.
Yes.
The story of the backyard.
Sure.
It was kind of a. By the way, hello to everybody.
Yes, we have a lot of people tuned in because A, I haven't been on Sportswire in a while, and B, they probably heard you were coming on, and I actually timed it perfectly because I was like, I think up until I messaged you, I'm like, am I going to go on tonight? Then I thought about it. I'm like, do I really want to go sleep for another 10 hours? No, thanks. I'm going to try my best, and that's what we're here for.
But with me and Noah, me and Division Nick, he said I quit, and everyone thought that was going to be the end. But that man tried to tear my legacy down, so I had to end his legacy. And I smashed a chair over the top of his skull, left him there, basically not moving, to where someone had to try to come check on him to see if he was okay. And that's my way of leaving, is on my terms. And I look at it as he's a good competitor. Don't get me wrong. At this point, I want to say this. I want to give a couple shout outs. I want to give a couple shout outs to the people that I've worked with in the yard. Because
I got a question about you in the yard in a second. So give those shout outs. Go ahead and do it, because we got a lot of people here. They want to hear it.
Division Nick, shout out to you. Fierce Danger, shout out to you. Foxy Boy, shout out to you. James Taylor. I know it's gonna boost your fucking ego, but shout out to you, man.
No, he's a living
Um,
legend, though. He's also going indie,
um,
also. So you and him at the same time going to the indies. What you guys almost like the Bret Hart, Shawn
hey,
Michaels of the yard, almost.
hey, look, that's another story. That's another story. But DJ Wolbert from XCW. Shout
Yeah,
out to you.
somebody that I know that likes a lot of my clips on Facebook, and I know I'm because I'm behind on a lot of people. He's one of the people that I think I'm behind on in scheduling on Sportswire. I actually do have an XCW guest this Thursday, but it's not him. But in the future, I'm sure I'll have him on. I just watched him on their programming this past week, which I'm still behind on. So yes, big shout out to him.
But Hunter Halkin from XCW. Shout
Oh
out to
yeah,
you.
definitely him.
Let's go over to
International
UWA.
champion.
Let's go over to UWA. Jake, I wanna give you a shout out because even though we had that one match, the only time Anthony Steele stepped into UWA ring, phenomenal competitor. I mean that's. Do I want to shout out the TBW guys?
Well, listen, you don't have to. It's anybody you want. I mean, obviously, James was TBW. I mean, a lot of people felt that was his company. So I think TBW.
Oh, here you go. Jordan Nets from IMF. Jordan
Good.
Nets. I'll give you.
And we want to say hello to the missus over there, by the way, because she's in the background.
Tom said hello.
Hi, we're live on the air. Just wanted to say hi to your beautiful better half.
I'll give it to him. Omen. Shout out to you, man.
He's here. I mean, you'll probably see him in a little while for a small hint.
You're doing great, man.
You want to shout out some of the WCE guys? Craven Rage, Nicholas Crenton, Sean Joby.
I'm good.
Well, how about? I mean, listen. What about anybody else that comes to mind? Anybody else that you think about? I mean, because I have a question right after that. Is any other names that come to mind in the yard?
Any other names that come?
Aaron Blaze, you want to shout out Aaron Blaze? Maybe you want to shout out. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to bring up Delta's name to you. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to go down that road. But I mean, certainly, is there anybody else?
I mean, even I'll give it to him. Even though he has a bump card, shout out Delta.
Well, look, I think. Listen, Delta put a lot of people and a lot of companies on the map, and obviously he's somebody that we have a lot of respect for. Just like we have a lot of respect for what you've done, Omen has done, Soldier has done. Guys like that have traveled. Jason Storm has traveled out there. Guys like that have put their bodies on the line, like yourself, and have done it for the fans. Who've done it for this sport, who've done it to go out there and give people what they want.
I will agree on that. It's like I said, I turn my new leaf. I try. And
that's what I like. That's why I wanted you back on.
I don't like to. I still like to talk my stuff, but I try to hold it in as much as I can. Because things happen. Life happens, and people don't see eye to eye sometimes, and it's just one of those things.
Hey, it happens. Listen, I've worked in the world of politics, right?
Yeah,
and there's so many people that I've had. Basically, I would say 90% of the people, maybe even more than that I worked with in politics. Candidates, campaigns I worked on, even one I'm on now. I can't stand the people I'm working with, but it's kind of like, it's kind of how it goes. But you have to do yeoman's work here. But let me get to some more comments because I have a ton of comments here that people really are interested in. Also, I want to go here first and say, I think we did that already. Chris Craven wants on with AJ Shadows. That could be a possibility. Maybe Coach wants to say hi later on. We'll have to see. Ego is boring. Well, that's DBW. He's talking about there's a group there in a company called Dominating Breakout Wrestling, and they've obviously been a big supporters of our here on Sportswire, and we'll have to see what happens there. Oh, really, Ego? And he kind of says that. Prayers for referee AJ Muse, who's currently dealing with an injury that was caused by the former EWF World Champion in California. My prayers are with him. Ego is beneath the foundation, just like how WCE is beneath the ring, right where we left him in Wisconsin. Now, I will say this about DBW. I'm going to be very respectful because we're trying to turn a new leaf over, Anthony Steele. DBW and WCE are like apples and oranges. DBW's here, and WC still got some kinks to work out on. So I wouldn't necessarily say that ego is in the same category as WCE. I definitely think that maybe people would want to see the Foundation and ego square off. Now that would be a great match. That would be something that the people would want to see. I'm not going to take a side on that, but I'm going to certainly say that DBW and WCE really are apples and oranges. Screw jobs all around. Thanks for the shout out, whoever you are. Northeast needs some recognition. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. The Northeast definitely needs some recognition. I'm in the Northeast. I'm in New York. And Coach agrees with me. Yeah, they're definitely different. There's no comparison on ego and WC. I mean, just that's like comparing the 96 Bulls and almost like the 2000 Chicago Bulls. I mean, you just can't compare. I mean, the Chicago Bulls of 96 won 72 games. It had Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, and off the bench, they had guys like Tony Kukoc, Steve Kerr, Ron Harper, Luke Longley, Bill Wennington, and who did the 2000 Bulls have? So, I mean, that's the point. But it's not about WCE, not about ego for now and DBW. But, I did want to talk about this because I said it in my monologue. You've mentioned a lot of names. You've mentioned a lot of shots. I know we're transitioning into the indies. You're now going to be the indie star, and you're going to go and become the next big thing. But, would you want to be inducted into a Backyard Wrestling Hall of Fame? There's this Backyard Wrestling Nexus Hall of Fame. They've been inducting people, and, Jack Delta's in it. CJ Junt just got in it. Anthony Aries. I'm not going to get into the politics of who should be and who should not be in there. But let's say for all intents and purposes, like if there was another Backyard Wrestling Hall of Fame or a Hall of Fame in general, do you feel like then that you should be in the Hall of Fame with what you've done over the past 7 years in the yard? I'm going right for the jugular there. I know, tough question for you there.
See, with that, a lot of people, when you think of Hall of Fame, a lot of people have different, opinions on what it means to be in the Hall of Fame.
Sure.
And this is my opinion on what it takes to be in the Hall of Fame. It takes three things. What impact did you have on it? What did you do while you were in it? And what did you do before you left?
Okay.
And I feel like, did I have an impact on, on the yard? Yeah.
You brought eyeballs to it. You brought visibility, earned media.
I feel like if I didn't do what I did my own way, a lot of the places I've been, I would have never been. I wouldn't, people wouldn't know who Anthony Steele was. And, so yeah, I feel like, did I make my mark on it? Yeah, I 100% did. Also, what did I do before I left? I made a statement. I made a statement that, I've spent, I want to say 6 years in the yard. And then the last year of my life, I've been on the indies working on my craft, making sure that I've, produced some of the best content I've ever done in my life. And I've achieved that. I walked into a yard, not even a ring, and, had people watching. Because for the people that don't know, because you can't really see it, we had people on their front porches looking out their windows. We had ambulances and cops slow down to drive by the show to watch what we were doing.
Oh, I believe that. Listen, I don't want to say who I speak to off the air. I don't want to reveal companies' names. I don't want to do that out of respect of the people that come on to Sportswire. But I have no doubt that there's things that you don't see on the finished product from the real world and the average person, that there's certainly a curiosity factor. It can work, both ways. I mean, I could certainly see what you're saying.
And finally, what was the whole reason why I was doing this? And the whole reason why I was doing this is, my mark on wrestling in general, not just backyard wrestling, but wrestling as a whole, is, you have those people that are the stereotypical type. You got to wear tights, you got to wear kick pads, you got to, have a certain look, certain physique. Or my story to everyone is, be yourself, do your own thing, set yourself apart from everyone else. Because the one thing that I look at myself every single day when I step into that ring, and when I hear, do you have tights? Do you have kick pads? Do you have this and that, this and that, this and that? I look at it as, why would I want to be the next AJ Styles? Why would I want to be the next Drew McIntyre, the next
Be
Randy
the
Orton,
next
the next
Anthony
Cena?
Steele.
Why can I be the only Anthony Steele?
That's true.
There's only one of me, and anyone can be a replication of anybody. Not to take a stab, but look how many people are using other people's names. The American Dragon.
I mean, there's certainly companies that imitate Roman Reigns and Cody
Yeah,
Rhodes, and we know who they are. We know who those people are. We know who they are.
That's my thing is originality, and that's what you don't see a lot of days. Like, it's coming back. I'll give it that, it's coming back.
Well, I think listen. I think you were certain, whether people loved you or not, you were original. I certainly think that Omen and Soldier have gone on a different path. I think of obviously Chris Craven when he was in the Yard. Whether you like him or not, I think Jack Delta has certainly done that. I think even, XCW is a company I know you have some history with. Certainly, I'm not going to get into that, but to me, that's a company that's always done things original. DBW, when they were a backyard company, were original. They've transitioned into where they're going, where you're going. So those are examples of, to me, and I think at the end of the day, there are certain companies and individuals that obviously they want to go a certain way. And you know what? God bless them. I've gone on my own trail like you. I'm doing this 5 years. I did it the unconventional route, just like everybody else. So at the end of the day, you got to focus on being you now. So you got to focus on, you got these contracts. You got to go deliver, because it goes back to the question I asked. Do you consider yourself a backyard Hall of Famer? Maybe you don't want to be a backyard Hall of Famer because now you're going indie. And a lot of indies in the locker rooms you're going to share with look at the backyard and go, I don't want nothing to do with that.
That's the thing. That's the thing. And, last time I was on here, I had a couple people will say, oh, you're going to forget where you came from. No. I will still, to this day, you can ask me a year, 2, 3, 4 years from now. Dude, when I make it to AEW or WWE, you can ask me then. I will.
I know you're going to be on WWE TV. Listen, I just had a guy on about a month and a half ago, right after you, Dean Olmark, who wrestled in Impact Wrestling. I have a guy on Friday from the UK, Dean Ford, who's been all over, up and down the independents and wrestled all the WWE guys. So, I mean, listen, I have no doubt that you could get on TV. I mean, I have no doubt about it.
My thing is, I will always remember the Yard. The Yard is where I started. Before Anthony Steele, there was Diablo. When Diablo made a little impact, I think it was like 4 or 5 years I used that name. I turned that into a dream. And then when Anthony Steele was created, I finally got to be me. I finally got to be who I truly set out to be. And, I ran with it. And for the past 3 years, I've been doing exactly what I said. Be real. Because if you can't be real with yourself, you can't be real with nothing. And that's the lesson that everyone needs to learn. I mean, if you're gonna take the route and you want to imitate, go ahead, do that. Get what you think gets views. I'm not gonna hate on you. I'm not gonna, crap on your name. Do what you got to do.
Listen, and people, you're the one going indie, right? So when you talk about those companies with 3 initials, if that's what you're saying, and they have champions or challengers that are certainly, some may say, are copying or putting their own twist on things, that's their business. And at the end of the day, they have to live with that. But you're the real deal, Anthony Steele. You're the guy now that's got not 1, but 2 indie contracts. You're the guy that was talking about maybe getting that tryout up for a company that is in Stanford. You're the guy that's going to sign another contract, and another contract, and so on and so on. You're the guy that has blazed his own trail. And you're the guy that also, indie guys said, boy, that Claymore you got is one of the best in the business. They watch you in the ring. They know when Anthony Steele's in that ring that it's very hard to top you. And I've had promoters tell me this, and I won't say the promoters that you work for. I won't say the names of the companies that they were, but those owners and promoters of several companies that you've worked for, they've messaged me privately, right? That's a lot of companies you work for in your career. You know what they said about you? They said, Tom, I'll say this. I got to give Anthony Steele his due in that. In the ring, very hard to follow his match. He's one of the best.
I mean, thank y'all to whoever you are. That's my goal. That's my goal.
You're gonna get there. You're gonna get there.
Like I know. See, that's the thing. I know I can. I know I will.
I know you can. I've watched you in the ring. Listen, I know but you got to go out now. You got to forget everything that's happened in the yard. All the stuff. You got to put it past you because you're a young man still. You're a young man in a sport that is almost like, how can I put this in a nice way? And almost going back to my New York roots, almost like you're going into like the prison yard almost. You're going into like jail where it's like there's going to be people that just have predetermined opinions and you're going to have to just like ignore them, screw them, say whatever you want and just go out there and do it because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to basically look to take you down because you're this young guy who's got you got a certain persona about you. You got a certain, confidence, swagger, arrogance, cockiness, whatever you want to call it. And there's going to be these guys, these 15 or 20-year veterans who are weekend warriors, probably got birthday cakes of guts, and are going to look at you and say, you're trying to take my spot, kid, and I'm going to try to eat your lunch and cut you right in your legs. Listen, you know that. You know it's going to come. I'm just telling it to you because that's what's going to happen. So you got to go out and focus on doing what you do best.
See, that's my whole motto is when I step in that ring, I do what I do best, and that is wrestle. I'm not one of those people that's like, you're either a sports entertainer or you're a professional wrestler. No, I'm both. I'm a wrestler that entertains. Like, because the entertainment aspect of wrestling is you have to know how to grasp the attention of the audience. If the audience is into your match, if they are fulfilled into your match, chanting your name, when you get knocked down, they tell you to get back up. When you knock someone down, they tell you to stay on them. If they are interacting with you, that is the entertainment part of wrestling. You have them involved. The wrestling aspect is you. That's where I will say my opinion on that. It's not that you're a sports entertainer or you're a professional wrestler. If you choose to be a sports entertainer, be a sports entertainer. If you choose to be just a pro wrestler, be a pro wrestler. I want both.
But I'm glad you said that, though, because you know what? There's a lot of people that they don't know. They always say in life, this is whatever you do, right? As we're here talking with the real deal, Anthony Steele. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, the host of the Sports Report, the owner of Sportzwire Radio, your voice of all wrestling, although I have half a voice right now. And if you like what you hear from us here on Sportzwire Radio, you can follow us anytime here, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year on sportnarium.com/player. And if you like what you hear from us here on YouTube, give us a sub. We're on YouTube at Sportzwire Radio 6579. I have a full slate of coverage here in the world of wrestling, even though I'm basically playing with half a deck of cards these days, but that'll eventually change one day, right? But I'm going to have here tomorrow and again Anthony Steele's chair from DBW. One half of the tag team champions, AJ Shadows himself, is going to be here. He's going to be live. He's going to be speaking on behalf of Ego. He's going to talk all things DBW, all things related to World War coming up this weekend. He's going to talk a lot about what's going on between Ego and Divinity. He's going to give us his side of the story. That'll be here coming up tomorrow. Then Thursday night, 10 o'clock here in the same time, same channel, I have on the New Age champion of XCW, a man you know very well, Corey Lee. Corey Lee is going to be in the house this Thursday. He's going to talk all things related to XCW as we're kicking off XCW coverage here once again on Sportswire Radio. But we are here right now with Anthony Steele. But, again, I'm glad you said that because I think that you should always want to go into things with an identity. I think when you go into anything, not just wrestling, it could be anything. Wrestling, movies, it could be television, sports, whatever it is. If you don't know who you are, you'll never get anywhere. So the fact that you're saying, hey, this is me, this is who I am, take me as I am, that very well could carry you to AEW TV, WWE, even places like Impact, MLW, NWA, which are no slouches. I mean, those are very reputable programs, and we've had on talent that's been in those companies. So those would be places that I would certainly also not sell yourself short on, Anthony Steele, the real deal.
Oh yeah. And to answer your question, because I've never answered it. Should I be in the Backyard Wrestling Hall of Fame?
Should you be in the Hall of Fame? Yeah, should you be in?
Yeah, I believe.
Listen. You should be in, because let's be honest, right? And I love the Backyard Wrestling Nexus. I don't want to make this into a whole thing, and who should be in and who shouldn't be in. But if I looked at your body of work, right? I looked at your run here these past few years. What have you had? 150, 200 matches, give or take, in the ring, right? In the yard, right?
Probably.
All right. I knew
probably
I
a
was
little bit
wrong.
more than that. Probably about a little bit more than that.
I'd say 250.
I'll say about that. About 250.
All right, so I was on the money. Like I said, I do my research. Nobody does research like Tom Bryce, because Tom Bryce comes from the world that nobody does research like anybody else. That's the world of politics. So I knew I was spot on. You think about your career, your body of work, not even the amount of matches that you've had, but the visibility. When your name pops up, everybody wants to gravitate to what you have to say. So automatically there's an earned media to it. There's a publicity. Listen, guys like you, guys like Taylor, guys like Delta, I think Soldier and Omen in their own right over the past several months. Aaron Blaze is another name. There's definitely different people that, come on here or have been in the yard. You mention their names and your company gets extra views, extra followers, extra subscribers. So if we're going down the road, when we think about the yard and we think about all those different things that are added to the table, whether you like somebody or not, they should be in the Hall of Fame. And I think that should be you. And if you think about the Hall of Fame, right? A Hall of Fame in anything, right? It's not a personality contest. It's not somebody's opinion. It's what you did in that yard, what you did in that ring. And your body of work, whether you're liked or not, you should be recognized for your career.
Yeah. I mean, if you put in that aspect, yeah. But at the same time, I got to humble myself to know that, there's men before me and there's going to be men after me that's doing the exact same thing.
But remember, though, you're different in that you're the guy that everybody knows to Claymore. You're the guy that when you go up in that ring, you're almost like a true measuring stick. You've been in different places, different companies. You go up in there, it's different. Not like, some guys who, are home to one company. And God bless them. Listen, I don't want to make anybody's entitled to do whatever they want. It's their life, it's their career, whatever you want to call it. But you went out there and made a mark and left an impression on different places. You went out there, and again, people wanted to see Anthony Steele in different promotions. So you helped those companies. Whether it's any company you've been in with 3 initials or 4 initials or 3 initials plus a group of members, whatever that might be. I mean, I can lose count on how many initials you wrestled in companies with and what you've done in the groups. But the facts are facts. A Hall of Fame, it's just like anything else, whether it's in baseball, football, basketball, hockey, whether it's in WWE's Hall of Fame, which, by the way, has no physical Hall of Fame location. But if I was going to start a Hall of Fame, right, let's leave aside the Backyard Wrestling Nexus. Maybe I should start a Hall of Fame, Anthony Steele. Maybe I should start inducting people. Maybe we should have a Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. I mean, you want to accept that? You want to accept being into the...
I'll accept
that
it.
one I know you'll sign up because you want to keep coming back on the Sportswire.
Dude, every time I'm even mentioned about coming on here, I'll tell everybody, I'm like, you want to go check it out. Check out Sportswire.
I know you do. Listen, no, and so are you saying then, Anthony Steele, that maybe we should start a Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame and just start inducting people? Do you think that would be something that you would like? Would you like to accept being inducted if we were to do a Sportswire Hall of Fame? Would that be some recognition you'd like to have?
Yeah, actually. I mean, a lot of, again, I look at it as this, a lot of men get on here. A lot of people tell their stories. And, people do what they got to do. And people are doing really good jobs at what they love to do.
I think some people come on here do a phenomenal job. Others, I mean,
Hey,
in the wrestling world. Not so much when I do basketball. Basketball is a different animal. People have different personalities. It's a different, there's political things that get behind who comes on, who not. But we go into the wrestling world, whether it's underground, YouTube, backyard, and pro and indie. Some guys do a phenomenal job in selling themselves. Other guys, and that includes pro guys. I've had guys on in the UK that are like, they're boring. I'm going to have a guy on 2 next week that they have like 10 matches in their career, and they're going to come on here and and they're going to sell their pro wrestling tees page when 3 people bought the shirt. I mean,
Oh, yeah. Talking about that. Let me link that up. Your boy got a pro wrestling tees account.
So tell us about it, so where we can find out.
So I'm working out everything, getting the shops finished, set up everything. It is under Steele Nation.
Okay.
STELE for all of y'all that are going to put just STEEL. Steele Nation, Pro Wrestling Tees. I'm going to be dropping some new merch on there. I'm in the midst of making some breast cancer awareness month merch.
That's an important month, because we are in the month of October is breast cancer awareness. I'm very happy.
And it's not just for breast cancer. It's for cancer as a whole. I get a little personal. Last year, my dad dealt with cancer, and he did not overcome it.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And that was a thing that took a toll on me. That's why
I could understand. Listen, in real talk, in 2014, my father passed away from esophageal cancer. So I mean, I can certainly understand that. And when he got sick in 2013, I kind of, not that I regret. Well, I do regret in some ways. I was in the middle of I was on a city council campaign, which was like a long shot campaign, and I should have really quit the campaign and spent more time with him. Now I did after the election, which was okay. I made up for it, but I could understand and sympathize with where you're coming from. So, obviously, I my thoughts go out to you, and I could see the importance of it.
My whole thing is, again, be yourself. Do what you got to do. Make your mark on whatever you want to make your mark on, whether that's, wrestling, acting, singing, cosplaying, whatever you want to do it, make your mark on it, make it yours. But also, be humble about it.
Absolutely.
Coming from a dude that has a huge ego, I ain't gonna cap. I'm not gonna cap. Like I've said multiple times,
But that's why the people liked you. Listen, the ladies liked you. Obviously, the missus likes you for that. You have a certain swagger. Listen, I'm gonna get to comments in a second, and then bring an announcement here onto Sportswire shortly. But there's some guys I have on here that are like, let's say my pros in England, for example, and they come on here, and it's like, they've got personality, and I love the guys that have come on, some of them. I love almost everybody that's come on Sportswire, right? But real talk for a second, real talk, I'm sure you appreciate that term, real talk. Some of these guys come on the Sportswire, and they've got personality like dry glue. It's like, yeah, you might be great in the ring, but you can't talk. And ultimately, talking is your selling point, and you've done that, and certain guys do that better than others here on Sportswire Radio. So let me get to comments here, because I don't want to make this a rant about other people. Coach says, do it, Tom. Well, I think we are going to do that. And I think we'll do some proper things for that in the coming weeks. Obviously, it'll go maybe into conjunction of my 5-year anniversary. And speaking of Hall of Famers that'll probably get inducted, Omen Black himself says he's first in the Sportswire Hall of Fame since by Sharpie I earned it. Well, you did earn being in the Hall of Fame. I don't know who will be the first, but we'll definitely figure something out. We'll pick some days and times. We'll have fun with this, and we'll definitely induct some people here, because I do think that we should induct people into the Sportswire Hall of Fame, because I have been on the air for 5 years. I remind people, I'm on SoundCloud. I'm on other different portals. We have an internet radio station. I have actually outlasted a lot of podcasters, so I think it's time to do that. I want to say hello to Mr. Daniel Banner, the cosplay kid of GT Ministries. How you doing, my friend? Can Steele stop imitating an applause for himself and stop the clapping? How unprofessional.
That's not clapping, homeboy. That's called ADHD.
We've turned a new leaf over. Cancer sucks. You're doing a good cause. Absolutely. Skulls, obviously, I really want to get to Skulls, because I know his mom battled it, and I think, was it his sister or somebody in his family passed away? He visited a gravesite on my birthday, unfortunately. My mom battled cancer 3 times. She beat it, but she was not the same. Yeah, I know a few people like that. I'm bringing in a new theme and things to wrestling. This is the cosplay way. Well, if it works for you, God bless you. And I hope that, it's to, hopefully you do more than a Hadouken because he did a Hadouken. He was in a Rumble and he did a Hadouken to his opponent who's like 6 inches taller than him. And his opponent just looked at him and his opponent just threw him out of the Rumble. So I would hope that next time that he doesn't do that. We love Daniel Banner. Daniel's been one of my all-time favorites on Sportzwire. He's been coming on here for about, I would say, just about 2 years or so, give or take, because I've been on doing UK wrestling for just about, I would say, 3, and he's been commenting for 2. All right, so then what are our goals here coming up here before I get to somebody else I'm going to bring on here backstage? What are some of the goals you got upcoming here the next few weeks?
You see, my goals is just doing what I have been doing, showing up, showing out, doing what I love to do, doing what I know I'm great at, and just taking life day by day. And that's all I can ask for nowadays is going day by day. Everything is not just going to be handed to me. I got to earn it.
You know that.
So far, I've been earning everything that I have been. Still NOCW First Blood champion, by the way.
I knew that.
Retained my title last show. I know I got a show on Halloween night with them. I don't know what I'm doing yet.
Trick or treat. Are you going to at least be thinking about trick or treating that day?
No, I'm too old to trick or treat.
There's people, you know what? I see people actually still doing it, like who are like in their like late 20s, and I'm like, dude, like you're gonna really ring somebody's. But I swear, I see people that actually like are in their 20s and are still doing trick or treat. So I mean, I don't know why that is.
That's them. Do what you got to do. I guess free candy's free candy. I don't like sweets, so
yeah, I try not to do that. And I have a few comments here before I do something else. The Hadouken is not the only move I'm bringing. Well, I hope that's the sake. It was my sister who has the same birthdays because my birthday was this past Saturday. And by the way, thank you to everybody that wished me happy birthday.
Yeah. Happy belated birthday, by the way.
No problem. Listen, at this point, I actually had like maybe the worst birthday physically I've ever had in my life. So because I was literally, I don't think I've ever been like this sick on my birthday. Usually I'm like doing something, and this year was like I didn't even get a chance to like wish anybody anything. I think I had like 200 between phone calls, text messages, and Facebook. I think I had literally like 300 birthday wishes. Let's see here. And he says here, getting the candy corn out. Steele, get the candy corn out. I'll induct Omen if Omen inducts me. Well, I'm going to induct you both, Soldier. I'm going to basically induct you both. I'm going to induct Anthony Steele in the Hall of Fame next month. So we'll pick a day sometime in November, and we'll start inducting people. So I don't know. Don't show up though in a suit and tie. Just show up as you normally do, because I'm not a suit and tie man. I'm basically like the Jimmy Buffett of everything. I just don't. I show up like this everywhere, So, but okay. So obviously, anything else you want to share before I bring somebody onto the stage?
Well, I wish we can get one person in here.
Oh yeah.
Chris Craven.
You want to bring him on? So you'd like to bring him on? Now, do you think that he would want to accept that? Do you think that he would want to talk to you tonight? Do you think that he's out there? You do?
I think he would.
Yeah, you think so? So would you like me? Would you like me to do that here before we say sayonara for the evening?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you think so?
Oh yeah. Let's get the real Craven on here. The one that actually knows how to wrestle.
So you don't think Craven Reigns should keep calling himself Craven?
I don't think he should, call himself a wrestler, but that's, I guess, opinion.
But he's a 25-year veteran, though.
Opinions.
Well, what do you think, though? By the way, WC apparently they don't want to come on Sportswire right now. It seems. Do you have any opinions on that? I mean, I know you can certainly be respectful, and obviously,
I mean, the way I look at it is, maybe they finally owned up to themselves, that they know that they're trying to call themselves real wrestlers. But I said it back in the day, there's a difference between being a wrestler and playing make-believe. Anyone can wrestle a teddy bear on their, bedroom floor.
I never had a teddy bear though growing up. I did grow up in Brooklyn, so there was no teddy bears.
Like anyone can go out and buy a trampoline and get a group of guys together and do it. I'm not hating on trampoline wrestlers, by the way. Not hating on trampoline wrestlers.
No,
But
I have a respect for the trampoline. By the way, yeah, I would not put down the trampoline by a long shot.
like I look at it as Craven Rage. Make sure that you do the proper training. And this really ain't
He
gonna
was
sound like
trained by Hornswoggle, though. I'm just telling you what his words were, not mine.
I'm gonna say this. And this isn't me, hating. This is me being as brutally honest as I can. You know, if you're trained, you know, people that are trained know what they need to do in a time and place when you step in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And the number one thing is you can't mess up your own finisher. You can't, you can't just keep saying that, you're the best. There ain't nobody that could beat you. And I hate when people will just sit there and, run a company and then boost themselves to make themselves look good and then be like, oh, no one can beat me. No one can do this. No one can do that. Look, I'll say this, dude. I'm more decorated than you, and multiple people has beaten me. James Taylor has beaten me. Omen Black has beaten me. Division Nick's beaten me. Fierce Danger's beaten me. Thomas
All right,
Titan's
so
beaten me.
I got the point here, and I'm
Right.
going to do a couple things here very quickly before I go into that. Induct the lawman. I thought he posted something, though, in Kyle Kennedy in the UK that he was the lawman no more, so I'll let him sort itself out. I want to say hello to Jason Storm. Definitely somebody I would induct in the Sportswire Hall of Fame would be Jason Storm, the wild card, the one-time ROEW champion, and Craven this radio. That's why he wrestles small. Well, you know what, Anthony Steele? We've certainly spoke a lot. There is somebody or a few people that want to talk to you. So speaking of Hall of Famers and some new people that you might want to know about, I've got here not one, not two, not three, but 4 different people here. And gentlemen, I think we've got some new other people here that may want to introduce themselves. So obviously say hello. I've got Omen Black. It's his show, so you got to say hello to Omen. We got Soldier
it's
and
my
Dirty
show.
Donnie, and a new gentleman who is certainly not related to Gale Sayers, the former Chicago Bears Hall of Fame running back, but he might run a lot quicker than him these days. He might certainly pack a little bit more of a punch in the ring than him. That I know for sure. That is Mr. Gabe Sayers. So, fellas, how you doing tonight, and what's on your mind?
I'm fantastic. I'm doing absolutely fantastic to be here tonight.
I'm happy to have you. How about the rest of you guys here tonight? How guys
first
doing?
off, I want to address a comment. Soldier, of course I would induct you in the Hall of Fame.
Right? I didn't induct you too.
I said I was going to induct you both in the Hall of Fame. But I'm going to induct you both, though.
I just want a laminate pass. Hey, we're going to the Hall of Fame.
I'm going to induct you in the Hall of Fame. Yes, we will do. We'll start those shows
in
the month of November. Let me recover from my 18 million year virus I have right now. But yes, we will certainly do that when the time comes. But what's on your mind, gentlemen? We have Mr. Sayers here, and I might want to know for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, Mr. Sayers, why are you here with Soldier GP, Dirty Donnie, and Omen Black?
Now, I am not a part of IMF. I am a fan of IMF. I will definitely say that.
As we all are, sure.
An official part of IMF. So you are probably wondering, what I'm here for. I am the owner of the upstart underground wrestling company called TF Crew. Mm-hmm. We take professional wrestling, we take backyard wrestling, we put it together to create the greatest underground product in wrestling has ever seen. We are the kings of Connecticut's underground wrestling. That's why I
know Connecticut very well. I actually
New Yorker, right?
I shouldn't say this on there because you're going to think I'm a blue blood, but I actually have an uncle that lives in Greenwich, Connecticut, who I actually lived with in summer for. Yeah.
So, yeah, see.
Well, is his name Vince? What's Shane?
What's that?
Vince? Is his name Vince? Is your uncle's name Vince?
No, not Vince, but actually every time we would go food shopping, when I lived with him, I would actually pass by the WWE big tower. I would pass by the building all the time. So not quite though.
That's so down. I know not only people know a lot about Connecticut, so I'll give you a quick explanation. All the rich yuppies down in Greenwich, and then all the white trash go up to Bridgeport. That's where I'm from.
You're way up in Connecticut. In
fact, you are type of people. Hell yeah.
You're near the state capital of Hartford, then basically.
Yeah, I'm closer to Hartford. Yeah,
I am the white trash. Okay, yeah, no, I was with the Blue Bloods. I will admit that.
Yeah. I am the garbage. I am the.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I love the people of Connecticut, though. I wouldn't say that, though. My uncle might, but I wouldn't because I'm from Brooklyn. So what do I know?
Right. Here at the TF Crew, I am the owner of the TF Crew, one of the youngest underground company owners out there, 20 years old, coming off an open heart surgery over the summer.
Oh, God bless you. God bless you.
Right, it's what we do. We come out here and we're hosting again. We're working again. We're getting shows out there every 2 weeks. And TF Crew, the thing about TF Crew is we never deny anybody in wrestling. We want everybody to have an opportunity. If you want to come and you want to train, you want to improve your craft, you want to become a professional wrestler, TF Crew will never once deny you that opportunity of doing that. So no matter big, no matter small, no matter unexperienced, no matter experienced, we bring everyone into TF Crew. But part of that motto, part of that mindset is bringing in some of the best into the TF Crew, as you would assume. Bringing some of the best into the TF Crew means that as your owner, I have to make sure that not only is my roster fresh, it's a rotating door. Because if you're going to see the same 8 people every time, like the majority of backyard wrestling, that's going to be a snooze fest.
Yeah.
So, tag team division recently started. Inaugural champions Christopher Black and Lucas Greifsue, two fantastic competitors. Competitive, fantastic wrestlers, a part of the Syndicate faction, which has just been taking over the TF Crew lately. But to keep that tag team division fresh, I know that every great division needs great challengers. Great challengers become great champions. So the foundation, IMF, this is your official open contract, open invite to sign with the TF Crew.
Wait. Did I just hear the company and then automatically live on Sportzwire that you've actually offered the guys in the IMF a contract to come in? Just want to make sure I got my ears checked correctly and my facts there. Is that what you just said here, sir?
Yes, they are offered to come to the TF Crew. We are hoping they come to the TF Crew.
Oh, I think
hold it. This is a big day for us. We get to say that we're going to get inducted to a Hall of Fame, and now we get an open contract to come to the TF Crew. Big day for the foundation. It is.
Well, hold on. I think we should make a quick team huddle. Everyone can not listen. That'd be perfect.
Yeah,
well, we're live on the air, though. I don't know how we'd be able to do that. I don't know.
Pretend. Use your imagination, like how
the WCE. I mean, where we can basically say, "Hey, we can just go on and pretend nothing exists." I mean,
go ahead and just pretend like how Anthony thought he was going to beat me. So, guys, I don't know if anyone listening, but Caster and Blackout.
Yeah, that big Blackout guy, man. I really want to take that dude down. Bring him down a notch.
All right.
So let me ask you before I come into Anthony Steele and bring on Chris Craven, because Anthony Steele had asked for Chris Craven to come on. I'm going to bring the coach on in a second. So let me ask you a question here, Mr. Sayers. When did the company start? And you plan to have 2 shows a month? Is that correct?
So what we do is the TF Crew officially had its first kickoff show this summer, actually, the TF Crew Backyard Bash, which brought backyard wrestlers around the entire Northeast together for a crazy backyard wrestling event. You had pros, yarders, everything in between, deathmatch guys, high flyers, every single style was represented on this show. You had guys that were legends of the yard, like Eddie Exile, Doc Holliday. Doc Holliday has been in the backyard
I've heard
wrestling.
Of Doc Holliday, sure.
Yeah, 20 plus years. You know what I mean? That's an old head right there. You had guys who were making their debut in backyard wrestling. It was a beautiful mix, and it was a great way to bring everyone together. So we actually post tapings every 2 weeks onto our YouTube channel. We host big.
And where is your YouTube page so we can plug that out there?
You just look up TF Crew and it finds itself every single time. Easy to find. TF Crew, no spaces.
That's easy, and I certainly would definitely like to talk about the company here on Sportswire. Add that to the list of certainly companies that certainly want to speak about, because obviously, you're a local guy. Even though you're up the state in Connecticut, you're still relatively speaking in the Northeast. And I certainly think that that's a company that what you have, I definitely want to know more about. And I want people to say hello. And I believe we're going to bring on Craven in a second. Not Craven Rage, it's the other Craven. Jason Storm wants to say there's only one Chris in open and close quotes, Black in BYW, and it's CJMF Black. Well, I think that's Chris Black he mentioned in his company, so I'll let him announce that. Speaking of AWL and ROEW, they obviously are working on something, and I'm sure we'll speak about that in a few weeks. Anthony Steele, I know you've obviously gone on to bigger and better things in the Indies, but another underground company starting, you have a thought or two on this, obviously, because there's nobody that knows the yard like you do.
Well, hello, guys. Almond,
Hi.
Soldier, Dirty. I forgot your name already, but you're new, so I'll learn it. I'll get it. It'll be all right.
That's not nice to treat
But
the guests like that, Anthony. Still,
hey,
you're
You know,
turning a new leaf over.
we can talk
right.
about being professional. I train under Paul Roma right now for my
Oh wow, okay.
So, being a professional, I remember all names.
Paul Roma. Well, I'll tell you what, that's a name I know very well. Yep, okay. A name I know very well. I'm impressed already.
My opinion on it is I'm glad that there's actually a company that wants to bring people together. It's politics, man. Politics create drama. Drama creates situations, and
Well, that's
situations
a
turn
world
bad.
we all know about. And
Um,
Connecticut is a nice
and
place of territory there. Connecticut's a place that,
you know,
the Dudleys used to have their school in Danbury. They used to have the
Team
3D
3D
Academy up there. Yep. So that's
um,
Connecticut's a very underrated wrestling market there. I mean, obviously people know of the big building that was there, but other parts of Connecticut are very underrated in terms of wrestling.
my opinion on it is,
Yep.
you're going about it the right way. Accepting everyone. Give everyone a chance. Just my opinion is, don't be afraid to withdraw yourself from toxic people, because once you put one, it's like the old saying, when you put a bad fruit with a good batch, someday the whole batch is going to go bad. And you want to keep that fresh. You want to keep that environment safe for you and everyone that's around it. And I'll give props. You're bringing in IMF. IMF is actually one of the most non-toxic companies I've ever been around. When I walk in there, this is no. I'm gonna be honest. It's completely out of character. This ain't Anthony Steele. This is Anthony Holloway talking. Soldier and Omen were two of the most welcoming people I've ever met. Doing backyard wrestling. As soon as I walked up, they kind of treated me like I did James. They were like, when I first met James Taylor, I was like, the first words wasn't hi, it wasn't hello, it was, you're a lot shorter than I thought. First words from Omen and Soldier when I walked up was, I did not think you were going to show up. It was, that's the main thing is, keep a positive head about everything. Surround yourself with positive people, and you'll go far. Once you start association with toxic people or toxicity in general, it will tarnish a reputation that you truly want to withstand and withhold for your company's name. So I commend you. I respect you on everything that you're doing. Maybe we can be in some works with each other. Maybe I'll come to Connecticut. You never know. But as of right now, I will say, it's good to hear, positive things coming from the backyard instead of always negativity. And like I said, you're working with IMF, so you're heading in a positive direction.
We like all that stuff, and the state of Connecticut is a state that actually holds near and dear to my heart, and Gabe is from there. And Anthony Steele, speaking of people that you actually wanted to come on with, people that I'm sure will be inducted into the Sportzwire Hall of Fame.
Talking about that, if we're going to bring him on here, I mean, no
Yes.
disrespect, I want to talk to him one-on-one. So can I have...
Well, the guys are here, though, with us. I mean, would you like... I mean, they're here.
Hey, it's my show, motherfucker. You ain't kicking
I
me
would like a one-on-one with Chris.
That's no way to treat a guest. That is no way to treat a guest.
Hey, that's fine. Hey, to be honest, it was supposed to be my show anyway. So I mean,
I didn't even know if I was gonna be on. I gotta be honest. I gotta be honest. I didn't even know if I was gonna come on the air myself. But I was kind of like I said to you, and then Omen messaged me. He's like, "Hey, I got something," and I told you this off the air, Anthony Steele. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I am gonna come on because I don't want to be in bed for another 10 hours. And I thought about it, and it's actually worth that I'm here because there's a lot of people that miss Sportzwire. So
I mean, it's fine. I gave you all your time. I gave you your platform. To do what you got to do. I respect it.
I think we are hating on it in this situation.
That's fine if you.
So can I bring him on already? Because I'm waiting.
Hey, it's a respect thing, guys. I'm showing y'all respect. Give me some respect and let me talk to Chris one-on-one. Come on, be grown men about it. Let's not be little kids in the backyard. Let me talk to this dude man to man.
All right, so you know what I'm gonna do then? I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give a happy medium here. I'm gonna let the guys speak for a few more minutes. I'm gonna give them a few things to say. Then we're gonna close the show out because I don't know how much I'm gonna have of a voice anyway. I'm gonna let Coach come on for the end of the show, and I'll let him talk to you for a few minutes. So I'll let the guys hang out here for another few minutes. And let me ask you then this question, Gabe. You know, what are the goals here of TF Crew? What are your goals here?
One of our goals is it's really taken over what it means to be an underground wrestling company in this area. Obviously, the goal is to eventually transition to a fully professional company. But to do that, I don't want to just go out and pay all the big buck pros in the Northeast.
Sure.
I think that's the easy route. I could go rent a warehouse, find all the big buck pros in Northeast, draw 50 people because none of these pros are actual draws or knows how to draw anything in the fucking Northeast like this. But that's the easy way, and that's not really the fun way. I think the fun way is create my own talent, create my own family, create my own group to push together to take us up and out of the yard, up and out of underground, and push into the independent pro scene. One of my big inspirations is Beyond Wrestling, Wrestling Open. There it's, similar, same companies owned by the same man. I mean, started in the yard, and now he's selling out huge, and not huge, but very sizable venues up in Worcester, Massachusetts. Big inspiration right there. And I absolutely know we can because my first show, I'm hiding behind the curtain. My company's first ever show. I peek into the backyard bash. Of course we're in a backyard. I peek into the backyard and I'm like, holy shit, there's like 100 people here. I closed the curtain and I'm like, damn, I didn't even invite that many people.
100 people is a lot of people at that level because I have a lot of British independent guys come on and they get about, if a good crowd is like 150 to 170. So if at the day at 100, that's a very good crowd off the bat. So,
Tom, I do want to say January 6th, the North Haven Massacre is coming. Our first ever indoor show. We have a warehouse. And I'm just saying, there's a front row ticket with your name on it. I would like to say that out there.
That. I don't know if I'll get there, but here's what I can promise you. I can promise you that we'll cover it on Sportswire leading up to the January 6th show. Now, do you have a show before January 6th or anything else that we could certainly, or is that kind of like the first show officially for you guys?
We have a couple previous shows. So what we have is the Backyard Bash, which is premiered on YouTube.
Okay.
The Backyard Bash has a couple matches on it, but I think about 6. And then after that, we've been uploading TF Crew Unhinged. TF Crew Unhinged is our TV tapings. Every single episode of TF Crew Unhinged is exactly 25 minutes long.
Oh, wow.
To mimic TV episode styled production.
Well, I'm glad you're doing 25 because I say this all the time on the air with some of these different companies, and some companies go out there and put like 4 hours worth of programming, and I'm like, I feel like I'm back in law class again. Like, you're really going to make me sit through, and I love some of these companies, but they put 4 hours of programming on. I'm like, you really like, oh my, it's too much. I think 25 is a great medium. I think that's a great start.
I appreciate that. Modern wrestling needs modern solutions, needs modern ideas. I'm in college right now for social media, for content creation, for filmmaking. So what I do is I bring that modern expertise into the designing world of wrestling. It's modern professional graphics. It's up-to-date editing styles, and it's short shows that keep your attention span. It's high impact wrestling. I'm sorry, but I don't care about your storyline and your 2-hour match that you just had on a mat in the middle of a backyard. I make people care. I make people want to watch. I make people stay invested in the TF Crew, and I can't do that all myself. I thank my outstanding roster that I've accumulated so far to do all those things for me.
Let me ask you before I get to the guys here, and I want to spend a few more minutes on this. I will bring on the coach, Chris Craven, and let him speak to Anthony Steele before we sign off for the night. But what inspired you to want to do something like this? I mean, you're 20 years old, you're in college, and you're training to be a wrestler. And the easy route would be, do your training, maybe spend another year in training, whatever it is. One of my buddies went through House of Glory, was trained by Amazing Red, Chris Urban, and he spent 5 years in the dojo there in Queens on the side of the Bell Parkway. And he finally said, okay, I'm going to be a wrestler. And I watched him, and that's all fine and well, but you're, in college, young guy, and you could take that route of being the indie wrestler, and you're going to actually do this. I mean, so what inspired you to want to go in this particular role?
It's a large variety of things. And one of the two things I'll note is it's inspiration. When I see guys like IMF right here, the foundation, I see
they're the 1,500 plus subscribers on YouTube did it their own way. These guys.
That's what I'm saying. I see a fantastic tag team right here that wants to travel to new companies, that's pushing themselves to be better every single match that they have. That I'm seeing travel all around, and I'm like, why do we see none of this in Connecticut? Why is there no company that is bringing these wrestlers together in Connecticut? And so that was part of my inspiration. And the other inspiration was for Little Gabe. When Little Gabe had his first backyard match, now keep in mind, I've only been wrestling for a year and a half. And in that year and a half, I've traveled all around the Northeast. I've had death matches. I've had some hard-hitting, strong style matches. I've had to jump off the top rope one too many times, and I don't like jumping off the top rope. I'll tell you that now. And that little Gabe says, how the hell do I start wrestling? I don't know. I don't know how I was supposed to start wrestling. So I just started messaging random backyard accounts. I'm like, hey, can I come wrestle? They're like, what's your experience? And I said, absolutely jack shit, chicken shit, nothing. Because I had none. And that was the honest and truthful answer. And so I said, I don't know how to start. I can't afford a wrestling school. And so I thought, once I found my way in, once I wormed and I argued and I fought my way into the business, I go, I don't want other young wrestlers to have to struggle like that. So what did I do? I decided to try to create a medium, a way for young and talented wrestlers and hungry wrestlers, especially, to come together. You're not going to just immediately get thrown on programming. If you're the chicken shit, you'll stay in the chicken back. You know what I mean? You're not going to just come on and start wrestling on the product, but I will never, ever deny the opportunity for somebody to train. If somebody's passionate and they want to help out at the shows, they want to help me out, and they want to train, I will never deny them the opportunity to get better and train with some of our veterans so they can learn and improve and probably get onto the TF Crew programming later in the future.
I want to ask Omen and Soldier this, and I could spend all day on this, but I do want to bring on the coach. He's patiently waiting. But for you guys, obviously, I hope I'm not going to pull the curtain down too much, but you guys obviously are kind of like the carbon almost copy. A lot of people might want to say, hey, these guys have gone out there in a short amount of time, got all these subscribers. You guys have traveled to Michigan. You guys are traveling to Indiana. You've traveled, obviously, to Wisconsin, so on and so on. Do you plan to give Gabe some advice, or is that something that you'll wait for him to ask upon? If you guys want to answer that, it's up to you on that. But I'm just curious for the audience.
Well, I want to add on to what Gabe said. Like, when he kept on saying chicken shit, like, it reminded me of the Ultimate Fighter, Brock Lesnar. He's turning chicken shit to chicken salad or chicken.
Yeah, I heard that word. They use it in music all the time.
I appreciate that as a wrestler. As like hearing a promoter, what's better is talent. That's all the sports needs. But now, I imagine the Foundation IMF can help TF Crew, while TF Crew can help IMF Foundation. It's about a working relationship. And I think that starts with Caster and Blackout.
Interesting there.
Now, I will note Caster and Blackout. I mean, Caster's money. That's what everybody knows. Caster is the modern $1 million man. Caster is absolute money. But Blackout, I don't have some cool catchphrase for Blackout. Blackout's just 6'8", 375 pounds. He doesn't need a catchphrase. That's just a big boy. He do a lot of big things. And I would like to say, like, I always take advice. That's one thing. I'm always ears. That's something you learn in the wrestling business. The people who listen are the people who learn. And so I'm always ears within the wrestling business. But I just want to say the TF Crew, we aren't starting from Zop, from absolute nothing. I have been a YouTuber for years prior to this. The YouTube game is nothing new to me. TF Crew is sitting at about 1,800 subscribers right now, and we are steadily growing. It's what we do. I'm big into social media.
Well spoken. You seem really well spoken. You seem really knowledgeable. You seem, like you have a good head on your shoulders. And I think anybody in life that's starting a business, starting a wrestling company, starting anything, I think if you have those things, you seem a lot more advanced for your age than when I was 20. So I think that you're definitely somebody that I want to support here on Sportswire. And I hope that we can connect after the interview and maybe we can talk about some of those different things and see what we can do to talk about your company and some of your passion, because you seem like a very passionate guy. And I'm always a believer in giving people opportunities. And I think that, we can hopefully work together with you, sir.
Absolutely. And I thank you again for this opportunity. It's been a wonderful opportunity. Absolutely professional. You're talking to Gabe Sayers right now. I would like to say talking to Gabe Sayers is different from talking to Gabriel Sayers Dalgar. Two completely different people right now. So you're talking to Gabe Sayers, the owner, the wrestler, the deathmatch wrestler, the guy that runs around bloody everywhere.
Both. I don't listen on Sportswire. Some of the stuff is we talk to both people and both facets. So I mean, I want to hear the wrestler and I want to hear the owner's side. So certainly I hope that those are some things that I can do. CJ Black wants to say, what the hell is going on here? Well, we have here the news that the new upstart company, the TF Crew, is going to be working with IMF and the foundation and they're going to be starting up. They have a show on January 6th. They've got some other shows out there, which is called On TF Crew on YouTube. Check them out. Give them a sub and, find out what they have to offer. Skull says he's going to check them out.
Appreciate
I want to
that.
say hello to the Atomic Titan. He's in the house, and he's got something to say. And I think he's coming back onto Sportswire next month. And Jason Storm says that. Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to give the guys closing. I don't want to get into that because I want to bring the coach on, and I'm really playing basically like the equivalent of like half a voice. So I want to give you three guys here on the dial here before I get to Steele and Craven come on here. I want to give you guys any closing thoughts, anything you want to plug. So let me go with the foundation first. I'll go with Omen, then Gabe to let you guys promote anything you want. So obviously, Soldier, Dirty Donnie, is there anything else you want to promote? Anything we should know about before we speak with you next?
Stay tuned for our channel. We got Highway to Hell coming up. I mean, the first match was already announced on here. The last time we were on here, the Fatal 4-Way for the world title. We got the Shot at Glory ladder match that day. We got Jovi's going to be in it.
I did see on his vlog he posted that. Yes, I did. I did see that. Yes, I was watching.
So I do want to announce there's made it official that at the time being right now, Levi McDaniels is now an agent for IMF, and he is a backstage coach. So there's a plus for us here. He's going to be training our guys better, and he's also going to be an agent for us.
Oh, wow. So, that's very cool. I think, that's some of the most important roles in wrestling actually come from the backstage stuff. I mean, look at WWE and AEW and the people that they have working for them. So that's a pretty cool coup. And I want people to follow the IMF on YouTube at IMF Wrestling 666, Instagram IMF_wrestling. So, Omen, I know it's your show. So I got to give you an opportunity to say anything else you want, anything else you want to plug before I get to Mr. Sayers. And, the floor is yours.
First off, I don't know if the foundation, my brothers, officially gave their answer, but I don't want to speak for them, but I'm assuming it's a yes to Connecticut, to the TF crew.
Yeah, dude, definitely.
Yeah, I don't see it no.
Yeah. You ain't gonna get enough of me. I like traveling, and I like meeting new people, and I like whipping new people's asses.
That's right.
So that's what it is.
More people to watch their shit.
And just like Soldier said, their Fatal 4-Way for their World Heavyweight title. A little chatter, a little banter turned into a real match. I got to defend my World Heavyweight title against three of my brothers, Soldier GP, Dark Kron, and Matthew Forsaken.
Oh, wow.
Now, the only thing I got to say about this, I beat all these three in singles competition.
True.
I'll also say I'll one-up you, because I'll say the last time we were in the ring together, I'm pretty sure I walked out the tag team champs.
And that doesn't matter.
Anyways. Not right now.
All right.
Winter Clash. I still don't have a match yet for our live show, and hopefully something at Highway to Hell gives me a reason to have a match.
Very fascinating. Fascinating.
And now, I'll shut up because Anthony Steele wants to have his little respectful time with Chris.
I thought that was little Mickey.
All right, well, you know what? I think that's all fine and well, and I'm sure very soon on Sportswire we'll have you guys talk about it, certainly in the next week or two. I have no doubt about that. It's your show, Omen, so you're going to be back on.
Tomorrow night, Ego is going to be on here, right?
Yes, did you hear that correct? Yes.
We'll see you tomorrow night.
Yeah, the foundation is always watching.
We'll definitely see you then. And Mr. Sayers, before I let you run, is there any final thoughts that you have for me that you'd like to say before I bring on the coach and get to a number of other comments, Mr. Sayers? Anything else you'd like to say? Well, while we wait for Mr. Sayers, I guess he's moving off. So we're going to, obviously, before I get... Oh, there he goes.
I got a phone call.
But he's a businessman. Mr. Sayers, I wanted to give you the opportunity before we let you guys sign off and bring on Chris Craven for a few minutes. Is there anything, sir, that you'd like to plug and anything else that you may want to share with the audience?
I appreciate the opportunity. I apologize, having some connection issues.
It happens. It happens.
You can't hold me back like the real deal. Anthony Steele needs to go to his playground to talk to his little butt buddy, but that's regardless of the fact right now. What the fact is right now is that I have the opportunity to plug my fantastic product and some of the fantastic product that's also within me within the Northeast. TF Crew will save that for last because best for last always. So NEW New Internet Wrestling, I want to say, up in Worcester, Mass. Great guys, great product. Shout out to like Jake Matthews, Power Surge, Leonidas, great wrestlers up there. Do your research on Leonidas. I'm going to tell you that. Backyard wrestling fans, do your research on Leonidas. Hidden gem. So he's a tough kid. I'll tell you that. Tough kid. We'll swing it down. I want to say thank you to UWF Underground Wrestling Federation, my deathmatch home and my home in professional wrestling, having their last show October 14th.
Oh wow, this Saturday.
Yes, Countdown to Extinction. It's going to be a fantastic show. Some of the most legendary backyard wrestlers. Backyard wrestlers have been going for 25 plus years out there. Some of the most legendary wrestlers who are now doing huge things in the independent circuit. So huge shout out to UWF. Great product there. Absolute great people. Big news for like Mike Fatality and Mikey Anarchy too. Like their big backyard names actually got entered into the IWA Deep South Carnage Cup, which is one of the biggest deathmatch tournaments in the United States. So big credit out to them. Love them. Those are my brothers right there. Fuck the new UWF. You know, if anybody knows UWF, fuck the new UWF. They gave me a little stomp out before my heart surgery, so I think that may have maybe sped up.
Well, I can see that. I don't blame you on that.
Yeah, Pat McIntoosh got some heavy ass boots, so that didn't make things so fun. Finally, best for last TF Crew. Like I said, new episodes coming out every couple weeks for Unhinged. Go check out our live event, the TF Crew Backyard Bash. Come see the crowd I was talking about. The first two matches are taping matches that we put into the show to make it a more full show. So once you get to the third match, you will see the crowd that we have. Feel the energy that we have the TF Crew. Feel the noise. Feel the vibe and the atmosphere that we created the TF Crew, because we are truly one of a kind, and we know that we're one of a kind. IMF, the foundation, thank you guys so much for giving me this opportunity. Tom Bryce, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. You guys have all kind of brought me together in one sweet harmony. I don't see how the foundation doesn't come to the TF Crew and dominates. I mean, they're two powerhouses right there.
They're big guys. I've seen them up close, and I've seen them in the ring in a lot of places they've been in. Yeah, these guys, they are basically almost going to be kind of like your APA. They're going to come in and going to kick some butt. So these guys.
That's all I could ask.
Yeah, well, you'll get that. No, you'll get that. These guys, yeah. I would definitely.
If the money's right, though.
Well, I mean, look, I'm going to flip on that. I will say, though, that obviously these guys are Hall of Famers, and can't wait to induct them in. I'm sure I'll see them tomorrow night when obviously Mr. Shadows is going to be here with us. So I'm sure we'll see each other tomorrow. And I just followed you on Instagram, and I also see you follow me on Instagram, Gabe. So great stuff in Connecticut. Again, always has a soft spot in my heart. Always one of my more favorite states. So I have to support you just on that because you're basically almost right next door to me. So great stuff, my friends, and I want to thank you. And we'll definitely speak with you guys soon. And the IMF guys, I guess I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, you for
That's
sure
great.
will.
Thank you.
It's my show.
Fair enough, Owen. We'll see you tomorrow. And after that, I'm going to bring you what you wanted, Anthony Steele, and he's been waiting by popular demand. He's got some new camera gear, and he's got a microphone, and he could take over for me, and I have comments. I'll get to them in a second. But Chris Craven, Anthony Steele apparently wanted you, and this is what we wanted, I guess, before the show ends tonight. Anthony Steele, you got what you wanted.
What's up, Chris?
What's up?
All right. So, remember that big announcement I told you about, Tom?
Yes, sir.
All right. So now it's time to bring out the big announcement. So,
all right. What's the announcement?
I now have verification.
Okay.
And it was talked about earlier this year, but I'm here to verify it. Mm-hmm. That Summer Bash 2024, Anthony Steele versus Chris Craven, and that Iron Man match will happen.
Oh, wait. Time out here, because I know I'm sick. But still, for the audience and those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, tell us again what I think I just might have heard.
Anthony Steele versus Chris Craven, 30-minute Iron Man submission match at Summer Bash 2024 in Ohio.
Wow. Now, do you know of this, Coach Chris Craven?
I do now.
And you having a thought or two, a reaction, and I'm impressed. You really have like a really professional setup here. I mean, wow. I mean, I think you could take over.
No, look, I got some stuff. You know.
Wow, I'm impressed. I'm like really impressed. So take it away.
Well, as I always can do, I'm gonna go celebrate. Come on down to Ohio. I'm ready to go.
So do you accept the offer here, the Iron Man match? Obviously, Steele is.
I already did. We were just waiting for him to plan his day planner. Like, no. I'm down. I'm already down. We had this video or this show. What is it? Like a couple months ago, we talked about this.
Yes, we did.
It was accepted. Then we had his announcement. He's getting married. He's going to try out for this and try out for that. He's going to try out for.
Well, you know what I thought originally?
Movie.
I said this on the air, off the air. I shouldn't say it. I thought the announcement was Anthony Steele's going to be a father. That was my first announcement. I was like, well, okay, well, I'm ready. No. I guess I'm ready for this. I mean,
your wrestling career just went nowhere.
Well, thankfully or not thankfully, depending on where you see it, that's not the case. But obviously, you had come with 2 announcements tonight, Anthony Steele. Now, Anthony Steele, you're the indie star. You're the indie darling going on your way for more contracts. I mean, a lot of pressure on you now that you've announced to the world that you're going to be in this Iron Man match.
Look, this is why I set this date aside for this to happen. I respect Chris. This isn't grinding his gears, hopping on his nuts like a lot of people try to do. This is being straight up front. He's he won't admit that he's one of the GOATs. He's been doing this a lot longer than me.
He's a Hall of Famer on Sportzwire. You know he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. We're going to induct him.
Yeah. And,
maybe you should induct him, by the way. You want to induct him?
Sure. Actually.
Okay.
No, this is me straight up is to test my limits.
Yeah.
I got all these contracts. Yes, I got, NLCW. I got MIW and Middleton, but this is going to test. This is going to be one of the first times him being back in the ring in I don't know how many years. Because I know that feeling. When you're out for so long, you can't wait to get back.
Yeah.
And, trust me, if Chris winds up having a match or two before me and him square off at SummerBash, I'm going to watch. I'm going to scout.
Oh, you better watch. I got an announcement. Let's put, since it's an evening of announcements, let me get an announcement in on myself. So,
go ahead.
Truly has been in conversations with Mr. Judgment of the DBW, Mr. Phillips.
I heard of him. I think I know a thing or two about Mr.
Yeah, so we are still in conversations. We are still talking, trying to work out some details. Hopefully something can come out of that. And very shortly, hopefully if it works, you will see me on Dominant Backyard Wrestling. Or Dominant Breakout Wrestling, excuse me.
Yeah, I would say that they moved away from that. But yeah, no, I got the picture. So
I already have in mind. And if he's watching, I hope he takes notice of this. If he doesn't, I'll talk to him later. If Mr. Phillips is watching or any member of DBW is watching, if by the luck of the draw I can become a part of this roster, I would love my first target to be Ego.
Really? Your first? I thought we would have been on the same side of Ego.
No, you see, people, not to go off topic with Steele here for a minute, but you see, I got unfinished business here in Maryland. And, everybody knows that I'm going to be leaving Maryland hopefully in the next year, whether it's Iowa or Ohio or wherever I may be moving. I got to finish some things up here. No. I got to finish some things up here. Now, you're looking at the Ghost of Habits past.
True.
And 2/3 of Ego, of that version of Ego, are recruited into wrestling, period.
True.
So, my negotiations with Mr. Phillips, Mr. Judgment, would be to maybe align myself with Mr. Judgment. If he's listening,
interesting. So you want to join Divinity then? So you want to join Divinity?
What's that?
You want to join Divinity, his group then?
Join be a hire, assassin, whatever. Someone to just take out his dirty work. I know he's feuding with ego.
He is.
Nobody better that knows them boys other than me.
Wow. That's interesting. And obviously, we have DBW coverage coming back to Sportswire. You'd mentioned, obviously, Mr. Shadows, and Mr. Shadows is coming on to the air tomorrow. And I'm sure I'll ask Mr. Shadows this question. They have World War coming up. Thunder Punch episodes 5 and 6 are out now on YouTube at Dominant Breakout Wrestling. You can certainly find out more on the company. So I'll have to ask people.
Like I said, I'm still trying to talk and work some things out with Mr. Judgment. I'm still waiting for that definite yes on when he would want to do it or if he wants to do it. So I do know that if he allows it, shit's going to get real crazy. And then, Mr. Steele, you can go ahead and watch. If not, however, I do have plans on showing up to Rage in the Cage next year. For Omen and Soldier, if they're still watching.
I'm sure that they're going to be hearing about this. And by the way, Chris Craven, the real Chris Craven, or the only Chris Craven, the only Craven.
I am the only Craven.
Well,
the other one doesn't exist.
You might be. But, I mean, I would imagine you'll be seeing Omen and Soldier tomorrow because obviously they've announced that they would like to say a few things to Mr. Shadows. I'm sure you're going to be lurking, and I'm sure you're going to want to say a few things to Mr. Shadows. So I'm sure maybe it'll be a get-together tomorrow, or a powwow, you might want to call it.
Well, you get some marshmallows and some soda pop, and we have some fun. Yeah. Mr. Steele. Since you're staring at your ceiling or whatever you're looking at.
No, I'm playing 2K while you talk.
Pay attention. Pay attention. Come on, man.
What?
Fuck, put the controller down. Stop playing with yourself. Come on.
I just
you wanted me one-on-one, and now you're going one-on-one on your video game. So here I am one-on-one.
And I won.
Iron Man match. Submission Iron Man match. That. This is going to be so much fun. You better flex before. You better get them stretches. Anywho, Summer Bash is going to be off the hook. I don't know what match we're going to be. I don't know where we're going to open the show. We're going to be somewhere in the middle. We're going to finish off the show. All I can tell you is I'm going to plant a little seed here. We've had this conversation a couple times, you and I. I've also been having conversations here and there with another man on here by the name of Taylor.
Oh, I heard of him.
Yeah, Nemesis guy. I don't know if he's watching, but
I think you might see him before we go off in a few minutes.
I want to know if the Nemesis James Taylor, the end all be all of that southern area, is actually going to show up.
Well, he's an indie guy now also. He's in the indies, and he's obviously focusing on the YouTube pages, TikTok pages, and maybe he wants to address that here before we sign off in a few minutes.
I challenge Taylor to show. I challenge him.
Well, he's going to be at New South Pro Wrestling. I mean, he's going to be focused on them. I mean, I don't know.
Well, he's got a lot of months to plan, put in his little planner. He can bring his shorts and his Stone Cold vest and his Steve Weisers all the way up to Ohio.
I think the Atomic Titan wants a shot at James Taylor. I mean, they've got some, they've got some unfinished business, maybe some would say.
There's a few guys I'd like to tangle up with this Sportswire radio group. Steele's one of them. Taylor's another. Atomic Titan, James Storm.
How about Craven Rage?
Craven Rage had his opportunity, and apparently he went MIA. So if he does show up, we can still do it. The challenge was late. He accepted. So if he still shows up, I'll be pulling multiple duty on that weekend. I'm fun.
Interesting.
Oh, Taylor said he's here. Go to Ohio.
I sent him the link. If he wants to pop on before we say hi and goodbye in the next few minutes. Anthony Steele, while we have Chris Craven here and anything else, is there anything else that you want to address? Any other thoughts before?
It's good that you're coming now.
Move on here. You have any final thoughts or anything else you'd like to plug, Anthony Steele? The real deal?
One thing I want to say.
Say it.
This is directly to you, man.
Come on.
It's
give it to me. Say it.
It's
You can do it. Stop smiling. Come on.
It's going to be an honor. It's going to be an honor. I'm a respectful man. You know, you came before me. You laid the path that I've, wrote down. I've veered off of my own path to make my own destiny. And it's going to be nice to actually step in the ring.
It'll definitely be competitive, I think. It'll be a nice show and treat for the audience, whoever shows.
Just as long as you don't get gassed within the first 10 minutes, James Taylor. We'll be all right. We'll be all right.
Smoke a fug while I wrestle you. You think I'm gassed?
I look at it as, it'd be technically the last backyard show that I actually do, but with an indie superstar.
You both have wrestled in the indies, so you could say maybe this is actually the pro wrestling match or the indie match. You could say that. You guys are both, are experienced. You guys are pros, and you can try this at home with you guys. So, you could theoretically say that. I was trying to be funny.
But to notice something, you called out a little Tay-Tay. Wanted to show up.
Yeah, he's here actually right now. Actually, he wanted to say hi.
Tay-Tay.
When you're in a podcast, you're normally supposed to pay attention to that and not your video games, you dumb shit.
Look, it's the Nimi Sis. Look, it's the Nimi Sis.
And I want to say hi to the Atomic Titan because he says yo.
James.
Long Neck is here.
So it's funny that you're here.
It's
now
funny.
I get.
How is it funny though? Tell us why.
I don't know what's funny.
Why? It is funny. It's funny.
See, what happened, Tom, is that when you entered me in,
Chris,
Anthony got goosebumps and chills up and down his spine because I'm right here. And that's understandable. But it ain't even about you right now, Steele, because Craven, with his low neck, mop head having ass, decided to say my name because he clearly is challenging me to something. What are you challenging me to, kid?
Oh, get that shit out of your ears. I know I got a new mic and it works, but get that shit out of your ears. Get a Q-tip. You want one? I'll go get you one. All right.
You might need to get a close.
I said I challenge you.
Here you go, Chris.
Show up. What happens after that is on you. I challenge you to show up because you and Steele were the two people that kept going, well, I don't know. We'll see. Steele just confirmed he's coming. You're next, Junior.
When's the date? August next year?
July 5th to
7th next year.
July 5th, 6th, and 7th. So it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
And here's my. He challenged you to show up. This is my challenge directly to you. Let's finish it.
Yeah, we need to finish the story, don't we?
Well, some companies do actually like talking about finishing the story. I don't know which companies. There's a couple of them with 3 initials.
Let's finish this rivalry. Let's go ahead.
Yeah, say it differently, you pastor-looking motherfucker. Come on, goddamn.
Because ever since I've come back into backyard wrestling, I've been beating your ass up and down everybody's backyard.
Who's got a chin for Sunday morning church?
Look, James,
I think I could go to Sunday church after this show.
Look, James, I understand. I turned a new leaf. Obviously, you don't know what that means.
You went outside. You found one of the fall leaves that fell, and you turned it. I don't know what you turned it to.
It's fine. I know you got jokes. James, you like to hear yourself talk. I get it. I deal with people like you all the time at work. I look. This is what I gotta say. We're gonna finish this rivalry, and we're gonna finish it right.
Yeah, say it. Get it out.
You faced me in mine. I faced you in yours. Let's do it one last time. That way we can both have the final match in the yard. You'll go to your indie stuff. I'll do my indie stuff like I have been doing. And then if we cross paths on the indie scene, let's make it a magic. Let's make magic actually happen on the indies.
Maybe we should get Tom. Maybe we should get Tom to be the special guest referee.
Well, let me get over my virus first right now because I can't shake.
Hey, as you said earlier, you got months to prepare, Tom. You got months to get over.
I pray at this point, but I have comments here. Atomic Titan is basically wants me to come to TBW. I think he wants me to talk about TBW. and we'll certainly do that at some point. He's got a number of things. He's going back and forth with CJ Black. I'll let those guys obviously do that. Actually, Atomic Titan wants to be the referee in your match. He actually wants to be the ref.
So show the hell up. Jesus Christ.
No.
Maybe he wants that. Would you like that, maybe?
No.
No, why not?
Better call it right down the middle.
Don't get your long neck in the way.
Well, is there anything you want to promote, James Taylor, before I let the coach say a few things here and kind of finish off so I can,
I'm going to promote that in the last match that I have with Anthony, I'm going to knock his shins out. He'll be about 4 inches shorter, so that way he'll be able to say, look, I'm not the tall guy anymore. But other than that, Now,
how have you been, by the way? I mean, I feel like we haven't spoke in a while because I've been sick. I have to be honest. Like the last 2+ weeks have been like the longest 2 weeks of my life. I mean, so I tell people all the time. People have asked me off there, like, I haven't heard from you. I'm like, well, I've been like almost bedridden. I mean, I actually have been literally bedridden. I did a couple of shows here and there, and that's it. I mean, so that's your answer.
You need to go to the doctor, man.
I actually did, and that's what they told me. I don't have COVID.
I'll take over for you, Tom. I'm actually getting in the middle of starting my own little show myself.
Well,
still working on it. It's actually going to be called Crave This Radio.
Well, I mean, I would love to air that or help out in any way on Sportswire, but no, I mean, obviously, we're hoping to be on the event. We're hoping to be on the event.
I mean,
we can talk about that. But, I mean, anything, James Taylor, you're up to? Any Nemesis session shows? Anything else that's going on that I should know about before I let the coach talk? And his
So we're going to be doing the Taft Taylor podcast. I'm coming up with a different name for it. The Nemesis sessions is going to be going to my Nemesis channel for all things gaming because it's so gaming. And I've had requests for it. I guess coming up, still going to be up the same podcast, wrestling podcast. It won't be the Nemesis sessions no more. But I'm coming up with a name. I just got to find the right one that just sounds right, not something like Steele Talks or some bullshit like that. But we're gonna be.
I actually thought you should call it like Tool Time with James Taylor. You remember how
we can call it something like that?
It should be Tool Time with Tafty.
Yeah, no, we can call it one.
You should have the girl he had though on the show. Remember the girl with the belt would come out?
No, it's okay. All he has to do is call it the James Neutron Talk Show. Because with that Neutron haircut,
I don't want to be copyright infringement. So, but anyways, yeah, there's that.
James, your Nemesis, the Incredible Chin.
Taylor
there
Talks.
You go.
What about
like
Taylor Talks?
Bob's Burgers,
what about Taylor Talks? Taylor Talks.
I don't know. Maybe, yeah. Maybe, yeah. I'm open to names. Throw them out in the comments below. You know, everybody's pretty creative these days. And
I'm gonna make a meme channel of all the botches James done, and I'm gonna call it Laffy Taffy.
I thought you were turning over a new leaf. I thought you were born again. I thought you were.
See what I started? Tom, you see what I started? I love it. I see what I started.
It's
a joke. It's a joke.
But
Come on, man.
This coming from the guy who slips off the apron of a ring, botches when he gives a super kick to somebody.
Oh.
Hey, at least it wasn't a Kevin Nash who tore his quad coming out.
I mean, James. Hey, look, Tom. Can I have like 30 seconds to be old me for a second? I know you don't want to see it, but I'm gonna do it anyway. James, you want to come? You want to come out here? Talking about how I botched a super kick on the apron. How many times did you got gassed out? How many times do you have to take a drink of water?
I still performed in the match. I still did the move.
Hey, dude. Hey, look.
I still did it all.
Bro, calm down.
All day,
calm down. Dude, I smoke more than you. Dude, I smoke and still don't get gassed out like you do. Chris smokes and he doesn't get gassed out like you do. You are clean.
I smoke both. I double do this shit.
Oh, wow, you're really smoking.
Yeah, he's really smoking. So, anyways, I mean, if I can mute him, I would. But that was then, and this is now. I mean, you don't know what I've been doing now, and I've already been training right now. I've been working on my cardio. I'm already on top of my game. If anything, that's the best that I've ever been.
Dude, do you hear yourself? Oh, that was.
I hear myself.
How you gonna talk? That's funny, dude.
I'm old enough to be your daddy. You know that? I'm going to ground you. Go in the corner. Go put yourself in timeout.
All right. So I got the sense of where this is.
But it's okay. Hey, James. All I'm going to say is this. James. Straight up, 100%, show up to Summer Bash next year. Get your head bashed in, and then you can go back to Alabama and do what you got to do.
I mean, why wait? gonna have to have a talk with Craven about quitting the cancer sticks. I agree. Good guy.
I'm gonna have a talk with CJ Black about reality.
Well, he's actually trying to help you. I mean, you know.
I'm aware.
Anthony, why wait? When I literally
I'm a big
drive,
boy.
Anthony, why wait when I could literally just drive about 2 to 2.5 hours, go right up to your front door and knock on it. When you answer it, I punch you right in the mouth and then go about my business.
Are you saying? Wait. So are you basically saying this is what's going to happen, almost like Alabama and Tennessee later in the season?
I don't watch football, so I don't know.
That's because he's not a real man.
Normally Alabama wins, so what does that tell you? So
well, that was kind of what I was implying. All right, so I got the sense of where you guys are. In the interest of time, I want to give the coach the floor. I want to give him the closing thoughts here for the evening.
Can I say one more thing?
You got 60 seconds, no more than that.
Hey, dude, I don't need 60 seconds. Why not this? Why not this? Anthony Steele versus Chris Craven versus James Taylor, night 2.
That's up to them. I mean, that's up to the promoter. The promoters of Summer Bash.
I mean, I want to wring your neck. Chris wants to wring your neck. Obviously, you got a fat neck to wring. So
how do you not know the two veterans would just decide to team up and beat your little scrawny ass, huh?
Because I've listened to Chris. Obviously, you haven't.
You've listened to Chris, but you don't know Chris's mind. I think I know it a little bit better than what you do, kid.
And CJ Black he kind of makes an interesting point. No football. You can watch it any day of the week, twice on Sunday.
Boo to football. Don't care. Football. All respect to the guys who like football. Not for me.
All right, fair enough. Okay, and a bunch of people want in, and obviously, I'm gonna go and get to the closing thoughts here. So, Coach,
GP cakewalk. Okay.
Coach, I'm giving you the floor because I want to move on for the evening, and I don't have much of a voice. So, what would you like to say in your closing thoughts? I'll probably see you tomorrow. I like the setup. I like the new lights. I definitely think you've modernized. I mean, you look like now a podcaster. You look like a legitimate. Maybe you could take over James Taylor's show. I mean, take over mine, take over James Taylor's show, and I'm sure Omen will give you a raise on top of that. So anything else you want to plug, share, or say, and, you know, anything else that you might want to talk about with your own show coming up, maybe I might know a thing or two about it. Who knows?
I know your first guest should be.
Not you.
No, not me. No. I know who your first guest should be. It should be Craven Rage.
Nope.
You know what? That was clever. That was very clever. That was clever. That was a clever one. Something tells me though that that's not happening. But Chris Craven, do you want to say something?
I wanted to say something about what was it? The Connecticut guy, the Gabe Sayers.
Gabe Sayers. Yeah.
The formula that he's doing is what we used to do when I started. That's what we did. We always welcome people in. We always try to work with people. So if he's doing that and it's getting off, it's popping off, that's great. Yay for him. But just as long as he ain't the champion of his own group. You know, right?
No, I did. I mean, look, I don't know. I'm gonna watch their product. I mean, I'll certainly talk about it on Sportswire, add them to the list. But I mean, I thought he was very nice on the air, and he's from Connecticut, and you know he's from our area. I'll give him a shot. I don't see why not. You know, why not?
You gotta do. I'm gonna get off here soon, and when we get off here, I gotta talk to Soldier and Omen because somebody over there in that IMF needs to start putting together that match card. Like,
I think Mr. Black will be with us when we're off the air backstage, so he can maybe speak to you for a minute.
What order is what? Like, give me a printout. You know what I mean?
Okay.
As far as Taylor goes, like I said, I challenge you to even show up. What you do when you get there, see what happens. Yeah. I've heard a lot of you guys, especially the two of you, say, we'll see. Steele just confirmed he's showing up. It'd be nice if you confirm you're showing up. It'd be nice to know that fuckhead Craven Rage shows up because he accepted my challenge. We shall see. And since CJ Black wants to talk a lot, he could show up. His mama could show up. Somebody's sister could show up. Somebody's brother could show up. All I know is I want as many people as this show as possible. All these companies come together. It's going to be a kick-ass show, hopefully. I just want as many people there, even if it's just to watch, get as many people there as possible. There you go. I'm giving Omen and Soldier free plugs on this whole shit. Like, I'm trying to amp this shit up. Because I sure as hell don't be wrestling for no crickets.
I don't think that that'll be the case at all. And I know one thing: people can follow the IMF and DKW. They're the ones putting the show together, and we can certainly talk about that with them.
Well, as far as Shadows tomorrow, or DBW, shit going on.
Yes,
I would love to be a part of that show with Shadows. I don't know how it'll go. I don't know what I will drop and what I won't drop. Like I said, I'm still talking with Mr. Phillips or in conversations with him about everything. So until I got a confirmation that I am active, a part of his organization, I will not.
Yeah, I have a few spots coming up in DBW. I think I have Brandon coming on. I have somebody else I'm going to reveal, I think, tomorrow night. So I have a few DBW spots coming up between now and after World War. So I'm sure it'll be people that'll pretty much be kind of your clue. So we'll have to see. And then a few more comments. I could name 15 more people. So
he's like Gabe and CJ are going at it now. That's interesting.
I got a lot of people going back and forth on it. But what I want to do, though, in the meantime, is I want to plug, obviously, Chris Craven. You can check him out. He's on YouTube now. He's also on Facebook. Give him a message. You'll probably see him tonight. I want to plug, most importantly, our guest that was with us here for the majority of the show. That is Anthony Steele. You can check him out on Instagram at Anthony_Steele 27510. YouTube 27510 Anthony Steele. You can also follow James Taylor on YouTube, Taft Taylor, TikTok Taft Taylor, Taft_Taylor on Instagram, and check those guys out. And fellas, I want to thank you, congratulate you, obviously, James Taylor. I want to congratulate you on the run of New South upcoming, maybe new name for the Taylor Talk Show. Anthony Steele, congratulations on not one but two announcements, Coach. Congratulations across the board on some of the announcements you had and the new setup, the new lighting. New podcast, maybe. I'm sure you'll have plenty to say on those things, and certainly looking forward to inducting all three of you guys in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame some point after the month of November. So I got 3 Hall of Famers, future Hall of Famers here.
I want a plaque I can hang on the wall. I want a plaque.
I'll induct you. I don't know what I'm going to get for people. I'm not WWE, but then again, certainly we'll find out. But I'm sure.
Get us a free slice of New York pizza.
If you come to New York, I'll buy you a whole slice of.
I don't think you want it in the mail.
They mail it now, but it's like frozen pizza. You can actually get mailed frozen New York pizza to you, but it's like, who'd really want that? If you come here to New York, I'll treat you. That's my word on that. But we'll definitely
take you down the corner and get you a dirty water hot dog.
No, I actually have a story real quick on a dirty water hot dog. I was in college. And I was right before a final. I don't know if it was in law school or whatever it was. And I had a dirty water dog, and I was sick for like a week. And I never ate a dirty water dog from a hot dog cart ever again. So my advice in Manhattan, never have it from the hot dog cart. The dirty water dogs literally are worse than dirty water. That's my advice.
What I understand, it tastes like shit, but you can live on it.
I haven't tried it since, and it's been like 15 years, so I'll have to get back to you on it. So I know my limits. But certainly New York pizza, that's a different discussion. I can certainly take you to anywhere you like in Brooklyn or in Staten Island, no problem at all. But fellas, I want to thank you guys for coming on here with us. Were you going to say something, James Taylor? You had something on your mind?
I just had a question for Anthony.
Yes.
Well, Anthony, I noticed your stupid flag behind you. It's sad that you have to put your own name on your own wall. Clearly, you're only a fan of yourself. It's fine to be that way. But, you had 2 people in here when I came in just watching. But when I showed up, it went up to about 10. What's up with that? The little tick meter went, oh, it's James. Oh, okay.
I noticed tonight, like, when I mentioned Omen Black, I mentioned Chris Craven, I mentioned certain people. It's like the barometer goes up, the temperature goes up. When I mentioned,
don't get it fooled, Taylor. They heard I was coming. They stayed for me.
That's what it was.
You know what? Listen. I think a lot of names were mentioned, and I think that's why
starts all the problems.
Or the people that's who they want to hear talked about. They want to hear it. Look. Unless in the UK, when certain names I have on, people want to come on. It's the same thing with you guys, But I'll tell you what. I enjoyed it tonight. Anthony Steele, congratulations on all your success. Chris Craven, congratulations on all your success. And I don't know why James Taylor is commenting at the same time, but he's doing that. Ace Reed of the Wired Up podcast. If you are in New York, yes, I will certainly make sure you're taken care of. I have a bunch of comments from guys going back and forth, but I don't have much left in me, so I'm going to let you guys continue that conversation. We'll see how I feel tomorrow night, but I am going to be here with AJ Shadows, one half of the tag team champions from Ego in Dominant Breakout Wrestling. You can follow them at Dominant Breakout Wrestling on YouTube, Facebook. Check them out. They have Thunder Punch episodes 5 and 6 that are in the books. You'll have World War this Saturday. You'll have a number of stars here in Sportswire come up to talk about it. We'll talk about all that and some. And Thursday night, 10 o'clock, the New Age champion of XCW, Corey Lee. And speaking of Hall of Famers, probably C2K is coming back to Sportswire Sunday night. C2K is coming back. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Well, in the meantime, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice of Will Wrestling, the host of the Sports Report, the owner of Sportswire Radio. Thank you to Anthony Steele, future Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer, future Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer, James Taylor, the Nemesis, legendary 80,000 plus followers on all social medias, and of course the coach, future Hall of Famer, Maryland Wrestling Hall of Famer already. He is a part of things that may be in DBW ahead, and he is Chris Craven. Some may say the real Craven, the other Craven, whatever you want to call it. He is Chris Craven. And I want to say thank you to Gabe Sayers of the TF crew. Also, I want to say thank you to Omen Black, Soldier GP, and Dirty Donnie. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. If you're on sportdarem.com/player, you're going back to your regularly scheduled programming. See you tomorrow night with AJ Shadows of DBW. Thank you.